Hello everyone, this is Korith Landwalker, and this afternoon we are having a lovely episode of Star Citizen. Over the last last couple months actually, I've been doing what I like to call the Aurora MR Challenge. Hey Legend, how are you doing this afternoon? Although it might still be morning in your time zone. Hey Cap, hi to you as well. Hope you're doing fine. Over the last couple months, I've been doing the Aurora MR Challenge, which is basically my attempt to prove that you can earn enough profits, starting with the starter ship, the cheapest package, $45 for the Aurora MR, and parlay it into enough funds to be able to do just about anything in the game. The goal being, ultimately, the Cutlass Black. Now, last week we kind of really burned through, just past noon on your end. Okay, so you're not as far behind on the time zone as I thought you might be. Last week I kind of did the high-intensity pressure, shall we say. Took that Aegis Vanguard Warden and went hardcore on bounty hunting and totaled ourselves up to 454,000 AUEC and change. Today, it may or may not be quite as intense because I want to spend at least a portion of this stream recognizing a location that will soon no longer be with us. The planetoid of Delamar will be removed from the game as of the next patch. And I'll go more into detail as to the whole thing behind that in a bit. Ooh, something's gone heavy blue here. That happens sometimes. I'm never quite sure why. Hey, Water! How's life treating you today? Water has recently started doing his own streams, and you know what? While I'm thinking about it, why don't we do a couple shout-outs here? Let's see if I can get everything in here correctly. Bang! And I better do a... There we go. Both of these individuals do occasional streams, and go ahead and give them a follow somewhere along the line so you'll know when they go online and do their thing. 3 hours of sleep, drink fest starting. Well, there are worse things to be doing than sitting quietly at home, taking a few drinks, watching a stream. And it's always good to have y'all joining mine. So, Delamar, and more specifically, the installation of Levski, my favorite landing spot in the game, which is soon going to be adios. But first, we're going to use some of the profits made. Well, actually, first, we are going to confirm that the upper left starting funds match what is in my current balance, 369,361 AUEC. That's the starting balance. What we'll do is we will take a look at the current balance at the end of the stream, and the difference between the two will be applied to the profits made so far, conveniently listed in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. It will probably not be as much as it has been in previous runs, but anytime I can get a positive number is a good thing. So here I am at Vantage Rentals, and we're going to do something a little bit different. We're not going to grab something that's obviously going to make me a whole bunch of cash, although maybe it will, but not necessarily in the way you might think. You see, what what I'm going to rent today is the constellation Andromeda. The Andromeda is, as listed, a multi-role medium freight gunship. So, it sounds like it would be great for bounty hunting, but maybe not as much as you might believe. And the reason for that is because most of those guns are turrets. But it does have pilot-operated guns, and we will have a chance to see them. Rental cost for a single day is close to 71,000 UEC. That seems easily doable, especially with the bounties that we've got available, to break even on. So we are going to go ahead and rent the Andromeda. Yes, the Constellation class is a little heavy on the backside, yes. And it does have certain vulnerabilities in that arena because the engines have this demented love of falling off. Legend likes big butts and cannot lie. Oh, you know, I'm not here to judge. Constellation Andromeda. Let's pull it out. The Constellation series has gotten a little bit of a buff with the 3.12 patch. Apparently it is a little easier as far as handling goes these days. I have not had a chance to fly it in that period of time, so this will be a new experience for me as well. May all my guesses be right. Here we go. Hangar 7. Now, where the Andromeda fits on the size scale is kind of fuzzy. It's big for a medium ship. It's small for a large ship. But as you can see, this is substantially larger than anything that has been rented so far during the challenge. It is longer than a Freelancer, longer than a Warden, longer than an Arrow, bigger than all of them. And you'll see over here we have the elevator that will allow us inside. And we'll step on. Click the elevator to rise into the ship. And the first thing you'll notice is it's dark in here. The emergency lighting is dubious. We have 3 seats up front. Excuse me, a little bit of drainage with clogged noses is impacting the vocal cords. Cough drop will be necessary. The center seat is the pilot seat. Okay, when I kick the power on, you will notice we have lots of multifunctional displays. And they're nicely arranged. I love the setup. I really do. You can see everything you need to see right in front of you. So, let's take off, shall we? Now I'm going to hop into the third-person view so we can get a good look at the ship. Now you'll notice that we have these VTOL engines. We'll be able to close those flaps once we've finished up our horizontal rise. Let's make sure I'm balanced out correctly. And up and at 'em. We'll close down the VTOL. And rise to the upper atmosphere of Hurston. Yes, the Connie is pretty thick. Now you'll notice here in the back, on the other side, we have this white area. That is a snub fighter. The Merlin, if I recall correctly. I don't think it's the Archimedes, I'm pretty sure it's the Merlin. And in theory, you would be able to use that as a snub fighter. If you have enough people on your ship, you could fly a couple people from man turrets. Someone can go out and use that fighter. However, there is a teeny tiny problem. It don't work. The docking between fighter and constellation doesn't exist in the game yet, but it is coming. They are working on it. It might be coming as soon as the 3.13 patch. It might be 3.14. But it is one of the big goals for the year, as I understand it. Let's get the landing gear put up too. Now the Constellation is a pretty nice looking ship, and if it didn't have so many little problems associated with it, I would probably pick one up. Well, maybe. It does require a few people to make it shine. Now you'll notice we have a fair amount of guns attached to the ship too. You can see just on this view 4 turrets, all operated by the pilot. And up top, and it's kind of hard to see, I guess they might be covered. On the top and the bottom, there should be areas for someone to operate top and bottom turrets. And I guess they must be nestled inside because I am not seeing them. Well, we can do that once we're at a spot where I don't have to worry about gravity getting involved and dropping me on top of something. That would be bad. I don't want to go to the space station because there may be traffic there. I just want to hit an orbital marker. There we go. Nice pilot DPS and lots of missiles. Yes. We're definitely going to be going into the armament of the ship in a moment. Okay, we are out of atmosphere, so we are going to take a moment to note the fact that I have at my disposal, in theory, no less than, count them, 52 missiles. Let's go through the list here. Right over here we have Strike Force 2s, they're size 2 missiles. 24 of those, and we have 28 Marksman 1 missiles, which are size 1s. So, what we have here is something designed to beat up at close range. And that might be a little bit of a problem too, because the Constellation is not what you would call really maneuverable. I mean, let's take a quick look, shall we? Let me get myself back up to speed. I know we are actually. Dang, this is flying a lot better than it used to. But it's still a pretty big ship. It still takes time to move around. It is not as maneuverable as a fighter, or at least a light fighter. And the light fighters are the kind of things that your size 1 missiles will do best at. Adding insult to injury, range is an issue as well. By the time a light fighter is in range for you to use those missiles, by the time you lock in and fire, they will have already gone within your minimum range. So I think that the Constellation is probably best considered as a support vessel. As for our regular armament, let's hop over to the Vehicle Loadout Manager. Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. Weaponry. And unfortunately, it looks like I'm not going to be able to scroll to see all the decent stuff on here, but I'm pretty sure that most of them are Rhino repeaters. Now, these guys are size 4 guns. And you've got 4 of them. Maybe I can get some more information off of here. Yes, here we go. Yep, 4 size 4 guns controlled by the pilot. If you can hit your target, it will hurt your target. And they're laser repeaters too, so you don't have to worry about losing little details like ammunition. You can just spray and watch the bad guys turn into cloud vapor. Theoretically. Water says, can't wait till actual Piracy and Cargo 2.0 rolls out. Like to stow away and commandeer the ship. Yeah, I think that's a gameplay they definitely want to get to. Being able to board a ship, kill off the crew, steal it, take it to a pirate port, and sell off the cargo. I think that will be a very exciting bit of gameplay, even though, of course, there will be a lot of people who don't like that sort of thing because they don't like PvP at all. I'm not a fan of PvP, but I would love to see that kind of thing anyway, because I feel that's an essential part of making this a living universe. Let's see. Stock, 447s. 2 of the hard points can be upgraded to size 5 fixed. You know, I think you're absolutely right. I think those guys are... I think at least a couple of these guys are gimbaled. I've not mentioned that detail, so... And that means you can theoretically land more hits. Now, we are going to take a jump over to the subject of today's, well, one of the subjects of today's entertainment, a trip to Delamar. So let's just get ourselves aligned. I am not fond of the kind of blurry look that you get from the RSI HUD here. And now that we're en route, let's take a little bit of a tour through the ship. Front area is basically the flight deck. Over here, you have your seats for your turrets. Your bottom turret and your top turret. So you can have a couple people flying with you. They can take those turrets, and they can add to the abuse of, well, anybody who wants to try picking on you and thinking you're easy meat. You might still be easy meat, but not as easy as it might appear. Going to the back, we have the crew area. Theoretically, this table comes out. I've never seen it happen, but theoretically it can. We've got storage closets. Very skinny storage closets, honestly. I'm not entirely sure what they'd be putting in there. And the most important room, the restroom. You'll note, however, that it seems to be missing an important part here. Let's hope they take care of that before any gameplay loops come in. Full loadout of 4 gimbaled 788s would be interesting. Yeah, that's kind of a scary thought. Moving further back here, you have 4 bunks. So 4 people can basically kick back, log off, and theoretically log back on into those beds. Although if the player who owns the constellation isn't online, it doesn't really help. Back here, cargo. The cargo bay down here lowers to the ground in an elevator, and it is big enough to handle an Ursa rover, maybe even 2, although that might be pushing it. I've never really tried seeing more than one. You could also fit smaller vehicles, like a bunch of Dragonfly hover cycles, or a couple Cyclones, or a bunch of Grey Cat buggies, and at least a few Grey Cat rocks. If you wanted, you could actually go down. Naturally, we will. And that way you could lower yourself down in the cargo bay if you wanted to, although I'm not entirely sure what button you would push down here. Of course, you could have someone on your crew lower you down, but you're usually not going out this way anyway. Now, if you go through the sides here, you'll notice that we have airlocks, docking collars. When ship-to-ship docking becomes a thing, this will be where you can go in and out. You'll also notice, if you look to the side here, the missile racks. So you can see all those lovely things that you can unload on those foolish enough to challenge you. Yes, I am kind of overhyping the constellation. But maybe I'm not. We'll be putting that to the test in a bit. Finally, in the back section, we have the area where, once it works, you will be able to board the Merlin and undock and go fighting in it. You can actually open it up and sit in it now, but you can't actually do anything. Cap tells us that the concept of the ship is great, but it's the reality where it starts to fall apart on us. That's where it fails. And at the moment, that's absolutely true. A lot of people have been begging like crazy for a rework of the constellation, and it's already been reworked at least once before in the past. But somehow it still never quite seems to reach where it wants to be. This is a recurring theme with existence in general. Got that right, and hello, Fiendy. Now, I feel it important to note that there are 3 other variations of the Constellation class. This is your more or less basic version. The Constellation Aquila is an exploration variant, and it sacrifices the upper turret for a scanning suite. No, Otter, this is not the Taurus, but I'm glad you mentioned the Taurus, because the Taurus is on the roadmap to come out this year, and that will be the cargo variant. Legend points out the other variant, the Phoenix variant. And yes, it is useless, but that's because it is a touring starship. It is the working man's luxury ship. You can almost think of it as a private jet, almost, if you want to think about that. Let's see, Aquila, Taurus, which is cargo. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all 4 variants. The Taurus will be in game later this year. The other 3 are available now. So, let's see where things are at the moment, since we're still in quantum travel. Excellent. We're only 2 million kilometers out from Delamar, and we will do our farewell tour to the landing zone of Levski. Now, Levski and Delamar technically do not belong here. According to the lore that was established from Star Citizen, Delamar is in the Nyx system, not the Stanton system where our current gameplay is. So Delamar's presence here was always intended to be temporary. at least for a given value of temporary. And what we're looking at in front of us is the planetoid of Delamar. Too big to be an asteroid, too small to be a planet. And we have a really lengthy cooldown on this quantum drive. If you purchase the Andromeda, whether by a pledge or by AUEC, for God's sake, upgrade the quantum drive, or you have to wait 30 seconds before you can use it again. Yeah, let's break that off because I don't want to. Over here, there we go, is Levski. That's no moon. Yes, if you look on the other side of Delamar, you'll see a big hole there with a big, huge laser that's a continent side. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm thinking Starkiller Base. Don't mind me. Although there is a large hole here, but we'll get that in a moment. Quantum drive is not being cranky, so brake alignment, realign. In any event, devs are going to will be removing Delamar and Levski from Stanton. What is with this thing? I hope we're not hit. Oh yeah. Oh dear. This could be bad. I think they're right on the chat. I think we have a 30k incoming. Oh, that will teach me to stall so long on fiddling around with the constellation and showing it off. Oh, what have I done? Curse you, Levski. Curse you. Okay, I think we have the official crash coming anytime now. Ah! Yes, boys and girls, I have crashed once more. A cursed server crash. And that's going to be a little bit annoying because it also puts me down to, well, let's see. First, I'm back at Lorville, which is bad because I got to run all the way back to the terminal. Then, because of the size of the constellation, I will have a lengthy reclaim time on that, which is also bad. Yes, I think I can feel the dark side rising. There was a wonderful image that was on Reddit not long ago, which illustrates it very nicely. You have little boy Anakin with fear. You have the Attack of the Clones version of Anakin with anger. Then you've got Revenge of the Sith Anakin for hatred. And then you have Darth Vader as 30k. Sometimes the folks out there in the internet world are great folk. Okay, we're back at the loading screen here, so let's hope that gets me back to Lorville fairly quickly. And since we are indeed indulging in the challenge, that means that the best route to Levski at this point, grumble, curse, snarl, is going to be taking the Aurora. But first, I see that my hydration is down to 75%, so we're going to do something fun. First, I'm going to unequip my helmet. And then, yes, I'm going to make some coffee. One of the 2 locations where you can actually do this. Shaders might need to be refreshed. Coffee is made. Drink coffee. Unfortunately, the bad news is you cannot put the coffee cup back so you can get another cup of coffee. This is literally a one-shot deal, which I feel is unintended consequences. Of course, it might be the clever method of ensuring that the player doesn't overuse the coffee machine. of course, this is Hurston, so God only knows how good that coffee is. Legend hopes that the fix to pathing to Crew L5 on Delamar disappears is fixed. Well, you know, you may be right there. Currently, you have to quantum to Delamar and then to Crew L5. We can hope. Did they mention it in patch notes? I honestly don't know. Haven't been keeping as much track as I should, I suppose. Alright, and you'll see that my hydration is now at 87%, so I got 12% of my hydration filled up because of that coffee. Lorville coffee. God only knows what's in that coffee, because it's probably not just coffee beans. In fact, it may not be coffee beans at all, and you know what? It's probably best that I don't pursue this all that much further. Because I'm pretty sure we're not looking at what you would call high quality coffee here. In fact, it's probably pre-used grounds. You know, I really don't want to think about that now. Why did my brain go there?
Hurston Security reserves the right to search travelers at any time.
Now, the first thing we're going to do when we get to the terminal is do a claim on the Constellation. If nothing else, I'd like to know how long it takes to claim and how expensive it is to expedite. V&D tells me that all I need to know is that the substance I drink is chemically identical to coffee. I sure hope so. And yes, Legend comments that it sounds like you'll be able to wear pants again soon. This is a comment that requires some elaboration. You see, there was a bug that apparently if you had pants on when you went to prison, your multi-tool would not work, and that's what you need to mine rocks to get time off for good behavior. So we've been telling Legend that he's going to have to go without pants since he winds up in prison a lot. Cap does too, technically, but Legend is the one who wanted to do the pantsless thing. But they fixed that in the public test universe, so theoretically when the next patch comes out, he will be able to do evil deeds wearing pants again. Plus, it sounds like they fixed the mining problems, hopefully. Which means he has already said he was going to do this, he is going to be going on a major crime spree with the next patch. So my suspicion is that he's going to say, "Hey, Xenothreat, mind if I join you? I'm going to blow a few people up just for giggles." I'll be watching you, Legend. Alright. RSI Constellation. Let's do a claim on it. Normal claim time, 27 minutes. That's not horrible. If I expedite the claim, well, it'll cost me 6,700-ish, but it'll take 4 minutes before I can do anything, and I refuse to pay to wait, at least when I'm thinking about it. So instead, we are going to yank out the Aurora. Because heaven knows I'm not renting another ship just to travel to Levski. Hangar 9. Unfortunately, the quantum drive on the Aurora is at least as exciting as the one on the Constellation. That's where if the server crashes again when I'm in orbit around Delamar again. Then the challenge may convert to how many ships on Hurston Security can I blow up in a rage? Okay, probably not, because, you know, the Aurora is not exactly a great combat ship for that sort of thing, but I'll be thinking about it. It will be on my mind. why is the door not opening? Oh, I guess it didn't register me clicking on that. Oops. I is not smart. I have trouble operating elevators. Now, the good old Constellation, the ship we started the challenge with. It's still loaded for bear because I still have those guns I put on here, so it is still a very serviceable combat vessel. Just not as good as the Arrow or the Vanguard Warden. Powering on. Ask the good folks at landing services to open those hangar doors. Please open the hangar doors. And they're opening up the exact wrong way. I know, technically the right way is whatever they say it is, but it's so much nicer when they open horizontally from my point of view, so I can just lift off while they're still open. I'm petty that way. Up we go, bring up the landing gear. And up into the black, since I see the sun has set on Lorville. Don't read into anything into that statement. It's just an observation, not a general comment on Lorville in general. The Aurora, for folks who are unfamiliar, is it's a flying brick, honestly. It's a wonder that the thing flies at all, to be completely fair about it. But it does have the benefit of having 4 gun slots, 2 of which you'll have to fill yourself if you purchase, or, actually if you purchase. If you're renting, it's kind of silly. Although it would be very affordable. And it also has, up top, a pair of size 1 missiles. I have almost never used the Aurora missiles. I mean, it might probably happen once or twice, but as a general rule, I tend to stick with the guns. I like the Aurora over the Mustang, which is the other cheap starter ship, because you can do more with the Aurora. With the Mustang, it's basically just a fighter. The only way you're going to make money, therefore, is by blowing things up. And starting that way is pretty rough. In the Aurora, on the other hand, you can run box missions, which can earn you about 8,000 a pop. And there's a bed in the back, even, where you can log off if you happen to be in space at the time. Not a big deal right now, but the day is going to come where that might be important. We are well out of the gravity well, or at least well enough. So, journey to Delamar, take 2, except it's not letting me set a route there, which means I'm probably going to need to hit an orbital marker first. Why'd they make things so hard? Oh, wait. How about that? Oh, nuts. For a second there, it looked like I was going to be able to actually tag Levski. No big deal. Time for some Kasaba Confive. No, I don't think so. Okay, skip through the atmosphere there, and... Okay, that was weird. It was giving me this sign that I wouldn't be able to warp there, and when I turn on the drive, it does want me to go there. Yes, life is filled with tragedy, Water. Now, quantum travel effects are something you really don't pay too much attention to after you've done this a zillion times in the game. But it does kind of give you that feeling that, yes, you are moving, and you're moving at a pretty good clip. Now, you are not moving at the speed of light here. You are still well, you might be moving a little faster than light, actually. I'm not sure I've ever actually done the math. Quantum travel is supposedly some fraction of the speed of light, if I recall correctly from reading the wiki and all. But it's not quite there. But it is more than fast enough to travel within a planetary system in a sane period of time. I mean, we're going from planet to planet in, what, 5 minutes maybe, tops? That's a pretty fast trip. I mean, think about how long it takes a satellite launched from NASA to get to Mars. And that's the closest planet to Earth. Well, Venus might be closer, but I'm not entirely sure how that works out. It's got to be faster than light? Well, I'm not 100% certain. I have to go back to the wiki to look these details up, but I'm pretty sure it's a percentage of light. Oh, let's see. Why do I have to guess when I can just go ahead and look? We will find out what wiser heads than mine say. Quantum drive. Here we go, and why don't we... Bang, here we go. Now you'll see here under quantum drives, they can approach up to 20% of the speed of light. Light takes 8 minutes to reach the Earth from the Sun. That is indeed true. However, the key thing to remember here is this is not Earth, or even the Earth's solar system. In fact, if you check the size of some of these planets, they are also all smaller than Earth. Now, I have not done the math to see whether or not the 0.2 C measures up with what you see in-game. But in theory, that's how fast the quantum travel is. Now, to be fair, 20% of the speed of light is pretty fast. There's also jump drives, but that's something that's more along the lines of jumping from solar system to solar system, and God only knows when that'll happen. See, Legend thinks everything is 1/6 scale. I really don't know. I could believe it. I don't know that as a fact, though. Let's see. We are 1.6 million kilometers away. So this feels like the right time to have a server crash. Now, the other thing that the article there doesn't really point to is that not all quantum drives are created equal. The time it takes me to get to Del Mar in the Aurora is not the time it would take me to get there in, say, a kitted out medium-sized ship. And some large ships will cover the trip even faster. So there's wiggle room happening. Let's see. No, much better cooldown. Please work. Please work. Yes! Stupid server crashes. Now on the surface, Delamar looks exactly like you'd expect a planetoid to look. Rocky, lots of craters. But you'll notice that there's something in the distance. Something man-made. And as we get closer, you'll be able to see that they are towers of a sort, with blinky lights. And the sunlight from Stanton is cooperating today and actually being on this side of the planetoid, which means it'll look a lot more picturesque, shall we say, than I would expect for my usual visits, which tend to be in the middle of the night and black and don't show up very well. Okay, being called in for landing. Let's slow the speed down a bit.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Up, and still a little further to go here. Bring back Stoner ATC. I am right there with you. The guy who used to contact you through your communications was the friendliest person in Star Citizen, I swear. It always made me feel welcome to be here. Unfortunately, that went away at some point, and with Delamar going away, and I should be more specific when I say going away, because it's only going away from Stanton. Someday, in the future, the Nyx system will be put into the game, and Delamar will return in all its glory in that system, the place where it belongs. And that is theoretically slated to happen after Pyro, which is slated to be the next solar system introduced to the game. We're still not there yet. You'll notice over here that we have a huge borehole, which is basically crazy strip mining stuff. I have no idea how far down that goes, and I'm not really that motivated to try. Not yet, at any rate. Second half of 2022 is Legends guess. Well, you know, that's about as good a guess as any, honestly. Levski has, well, this is where it gets kind of complicated. It looks like it has 5 landing hangars, but only 4 of them are actually functional. One of these hangars is a lie. I don't know why that is. Some things you just don't question. So we are going to land ourselves. Bang.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Oh, I will. So now that we have arrived at Levski, let's take a little bit of a look around, shall we? Up we go. And the best part is, now that we're here, server crashes will respawn me here at Levski, so... Ha! Go ahead and server crash me now. That's not a request. Don't get the wrong idea. Now, as you can see, this is very much a haphazard kind of looking place. If Lorville could be called industrial, this can be called, I'm going to say, survivalist. Which is no big surprise, because the whole point behind Levski is that it, well, the best way to describe it is with an analogy. Do you remember the brown coats from Firefly? This is where they would live. This is the attitude they would have. very much independent of the United Empire of Earth. Welcome to Levski signs. The first place we're going to take a quick stop at is actually across over here. Teach's Ship Shop. Oh, yes, Legend has another great comparison. Bartertown. Although maybe not as dystopian as Bartertown. But it certainly has the aesthetic. Master Blaster runs Bartertown. Now, Teach's had one great shining benefit to it. It was the one place in Stanton where you could buy Drake starships. And this would, in fact, be the place where I would be buying the Cutlass Black when the profit margin hits. Cutlass Black is 1,385,300 AUEC. So when that profit margin up in the upper right is equal or greater to this value, then the challenge ends, and we have a Drake Cutlass Black. There's also a number of other Drake offerings, including their Buccaneer, which is a light combat fighter, which I'm told is basically heavy on the firepower. Dragonflies, which are the, I guess the baseline hover cycle is the way to look at it. And, most importantly, the Drake Caterpillar. The one Drake offering that's actually worth the money. I know, I'm bad. Which is basically their cargo ship. And while it says medium freight, don't let that fool you. Right now, today, the Caterpillar carries the most cargo of any ship presently in the game. Any of them. This will change with the 3.13 patch when the Crusader Hercules vessels come into play. But for now, the Cat is king. And you can get some other ships here too, like the Bisque Prospector for mining. You can get a couple of the Aurora variants here. Why they have the Grey Cat listed under RSI, I have no idea. But this is Levski. It's probably a wonder that things work here at all. Baseline Cyclone ground vehicle. This is the one place where you can get the Asperia Blade, which is a Vanduul inspired starship. Vanduul being one of the nastier aliens in the setting. Argo MPUVs, which are basically shuttlecraft that have no quantum drive whatsoever, but may become useful once the bigger ships start rolling into play. And another ship that is near and dear to my heart, the Anvil Hornet F7C, which is a medium-sized fighter, and I cannot say enough good things about this thing. It needs a little bit of extra, shall we say, improved components. But once you get there, it is a scary fighter. Let's take a quick hop downstairs here so we can get a closer look at some of these. Blade sucks. Legend wants a glaive. Well, you know, maybe they'll sell them in Pyro. I know, that was cruel. Here's the Dragonfly. The Grey Cat Buggy. Okay, it's the PTV technically, but, you know, I still think it was the Buggy. It looks like a Buggy. But if you're thinking Dune Buggy kind of things, that's what your Cyclones are for. And over here we have the Buccaneer. And you can see it's got a pretty good sized gun up top there. As well as guns just under the wings. Rolling back here we have the Hornet. Always reliable from Anvil Aerospace. the Prospector, which we've seen at the New Deal over at Lorville. One of the Aurora variants, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be the ES. No, it's the CL. I think the CL is the luxury variant, maybe? No, it's the light freight variant. That makes sense. I knew that sounded wrong the moment I said that, because this is Levski, and luxury and Levski do not go together. Now this... Oh, I don't know. This looks like it could be the... Oh my god, this is the luxury... Oh, no, this is a light fighter. I was really expecting the ES to be here, which is the essential Aurora. Although why anybody would pick that one up, I have no idea. And finally, the challenge's goal, the Cutlass Black. We'll get there. We'll get there. And that is the ship shop at Levski. The good news is, theoretically, all of the ships that are listed on that terminal presumably are going to be migrated out to the other ship stores in the game, which means you might be able to pick them up at New Deal at Lorville. You might be able to pick them up at Astro Armada at Area 18 over at ArcCorp. There are no ship shops at Microtech. At least not at this time. You never know. They may do a pass again someday. So let us exit the elevator section here. And we will take a look at customs. Actually, there was somewhere else I wanted to go back there. Let's do that now before I forget. Otherwise, my short-term memory becomes involved, and heaven only knows what will happen at that point. I want to go to the lobby. You really don't think of the lobby as a place to go here at Levski, because for the most part, everything you want to do is either at customs or at the Grand Barter, which I'll go into more detail about later. But there is something pretty significant in this area. You'll see that we have these vehicle retrieval terminals. This is where you will pull out land vehicles. Like, for example, the Drake Dragonfly. Actually, you know what? We'll grab the Gray Cat. I never drive that around much anyway, so... I do it because it amuses me. Of course, if I knew that I was going to give them that much harder time pulling out, I might have reconsidered. Garage 4. Now you'll notice up here it mentions airlocks. Remember, Delamar is a planetoid. Basically a huge rock. It has no atmosphere of its own. So if you're not wearing a spacesuit when you go out here, well, you will be very, very sorry. But the reason I wanted to do that here is because I wanted to take a wider look at the Levski installation here. And I grabbed the vehicle because it's faster than walking. And I grabbed this vehicle because it amused the hell out of me. I am so easily amused. Let's hop into third-person view here for this. And let's take a quick tour of the area. Again, survivalist chic is going on here. I gotta be careful on how fast I hit some of these bumps because the buggy is...
Thank you. And please visit again.
Thank you. The buggy is extremely fragile, and if you look at it cruelly, it might break. I wish I could say I was exaggerating. I don't think I've ever actually driven down this way. But eventually you exit the bounds of the installation proper. And you start seeing, you know, everything from the ground level, including the hangars, which you get a much bigger appreciation for the size of the hangars when you're driving around in a buggy, or even just walking around. I am literally driving between two of the hangars right now. Zoom, zoom. Now, the reason why you can spawn vehicles out here, the best reason possible, is if you want to load a vehicle onto one of your ships. The Grey Cat PTV can fit in pretty much any ship that has a cargo area. Not quite all of them, maybe, but I'm pretty sure it fits in all of them. I just can't prove it. Got those fires from mining work being done. Okay. Next step is to get ourselves back into a garage. Is that a way in? No, that's not a way in. That looks like a fence. That was too much to hope for. The smart guy would probably go back the way he came. Why change the habit of a lifetime now? Besides, who knows when I'll be able to drive along the wasteland of Delamar again. Could be years. Never really noticed that before. Or at least not as a separate part of Levski. I am very likely currently driving around the huge borehole. Actually, I might be partially in the huge borehole for all I know. No, I'm not. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to drive around those hangars. Of course, if I really want to do this quickly, I'd just explode the Grey Cat and respawn in Levski. But where's the fun in that? Where is the fun in that? Okay, I think I can start getting myself back to the outpost proper now. Yeah, looks like the front gate up ahead. Or a gate. Or something. Once we get inside, I'll call for a garage and I can park everything up. Okay, maybe I'm not as close to a main gate as I thought. Oh, it can't be that far. I mean, I'm driving between hangars here. I can't believe I've been spending this much time in the buggy. Heh, there we go. When in doubt, make your own way. Okay, that strategy may not have worked as well as I'd hoped. I like to imagine that there are people working here at Levski right now who are looking out their windows and thinking, what is that idiot doing in that gray cat? Besides hitting a bunch of rocks. I'm actually surprised. I would have figured I would have blown up by now by hitting those things. Oh! Oh, that plan did not work the way it was supposed to. Alright. They have broken me down. We'll just leave the gray cat outside and we'll take the steps inside and walk the rest of the way. Try to walk the rest of the way. There we go. I mean, I'm not too concerned about abandoning the vehicle. Claiming it would be probably take about, I don't know, 30 seconds at best. Run, run, run. All I need to do is just find one of the doors back in. And, huh, what do you know it? I think it's over there. That kind of hurts, really. I was so close to the entry, but I just couldn't quite get back in. And here we are. If only I could drive through walls. And that's pretty much all there is to the lobby area. So now we're going to go back to customs and see the Great Barter. Well, the Grand Barter, technically. Great, Grand. Either way, I think that the barter kind of encapsulates what you need to know about Levski. Incidentally, over to the side here, we have trade terminals, and in fact, so that this ship isn't while this trip is not a complete waste of time. I guess I have to actually bring the Andromeda in. I thought I could get away with it being in claim time, but I should be able to pull it up now with no problems. Yeah, it's stored, so why is it? You know what? Let's try to retrieve the thing, and then we'll load it up. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some cargo on board. Hangar 2, and that way we might be able to get some extra profit from this journey. In theory. So let's try this again. Select location. It has 96 standard cargo units, which is a respectable amount. And we're going to load up on agricultural supplies, which will net me, well, it'll cost me a little under 5,000. As you may suspect, this will not get me a great deal of profit, no matter where I sell it. But hey, money's money, right? You can also sell unrefined ore here, apparently. It doesn't make as much as it used to. So we're going to go to these elevators here that indicate the Grand Barter Market. Do the Grand Barter. And again, you can get the definite feel that this was very much a former mining location. And still is, I think, to a great extent. And here it is, the entry. The Grand Barterer. Clearly they spent no expense to make a sign. Didn't know the raw ore terminal was still there, you know? That was a surprise to me too, Legend. I expected that they would have taken them out. Well, you still have maybe 2 or 3 days that you can take advantage of it. And here we are, the Barterer. Over here to the left we have a hospital. Doesn't actually work. Someday when medical gameplay happens, it might open. But of course, by the time that happens, obviously Levski won't be around to use it. Over to the right, we have one of the major stops here. Conscientious Objects. A play on words for conscientious objectors, except exactly the opposite, because they object by using guns. Lots of guns, including some guns that you can't buy anywhere else except perhaps Grim Hex. Like railguns. I believe we have a missile launcher here somewhere. No, those are railguns. Where the heck? I could have sworn somewhere in here they had the missile launchers too. But I might be confusing it with Grim Hex. Because none of these look like they're missile launchers. Oh, no, that's a railgun. We've got the grenade. I'm pretty sure the grenade launcher here. No, that's a shotgun. Oh, that just shows how good I am at identifying these guns on sight. Which is to say, not at all. And they also have handy things like grenades and ammunition for just about every gun that you care to load up. But it's not, and somewhere else, I believe, on the upper level, if I recall correctly, onto the side here, we have the bar. Cafe something or other. Music. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to try to figure that out. But if you want to try to grab stuff from the bartender, this would be a place you could try. Bartender stuff. Well, much like real-life bartenders, perhaps, they will tend to ignore you until you show that you're not going to go away before they come to serve you. I know that's kind of harsh of me, but there it is. Now, down this alley, we have Dumper's Depot, and much like Dumper's Depot at Port Olisar or Grim Hex, I think Grim Hex has a Dumper's. You can pick up a number of Starship components, the value of which depends a lot on what you're looking for. Shields, power cores. I believe they also have weapons for your ship, although I'm not 100% sure. Yes. So, that's something that can be useful when you're looking to upgrade your ship. Do your research. Okay, that's... I am going the wrong way. You know, I think I went out the wrong door. Is there a second door here? Oh, there. No, that's backstage. Okay, I just got myself turned around, that's all. You would think that by now I'd be able to handle it, but... I just didn't run as far as I should have. Here we are. Now when we go down a level, this is where the barter comes to life. Now, this is one of only 3 places to buy Rattler missiles. Well, soon it'll be 2 places. This is also one of the two places where you can get a long coat, which I always make sure to grab the duotone dusters here. Voyage quantum travel drives 2 as well, huh? Someone's been doing a lot of research on where to pick up their equipment. Legend likes to kit out his starships as much as possible. I tend to stick with stock equipment for the most part, with some exceptions. Because whenever they do a big patch or a character reset, sometimes components go away. And then suddenly you're out hundreds of thousands of credits. Now, while you get a good feel of the way things are here, a lot of these little shops, you can't buy anything here. You see all these plants? You can't buy any of these plants. See these lovely axes? Well, pickaxes and saws and stuff. You can't buy any of those. You can, however, buy water and energy bars. And crypto keys. These are the handy little devices that you use to try to hack illegally into security terminals, and I am being pushed away by some rude guy. Go away. Wise guy. He can push me around, but I can't push him around. I find that... Well, actually, not unfamiliar. This kind of thing happens all the time in the City of Heroes. I need the secret word to buy plants? Ah, plants. Yes, you know, it would have been great if they had a mission to pick up some of these plants, deliver them to one of the drug labs, do some conversion. But those crypto keys are basically how you would hack into those terminals and erase your criminal status. Now, finally, we have Corderies over here, and this is one of the places that has armor. And it seems to be no big thing here. I mean, they're intimidating looking, if kind of haphazard. But this is Levski, and you do have a couple of decent looking suits here as well. And finally, as an aside, I don't really plan to go too far into it, but where'd the stairs go? Oh, there they are, right in front of me. No wonder I can't find them. Just looking right at them. If we go out of the barter here, and if you were to, say, go down around the station here, you would be able to find a mission giver. Do I have her mission up now? No, I got nothing under my personal tab. But we do have a mission giver who will give out missions, and they will usually fail on you because you can't get there fast enough before they get withdrawn. I might still be bitter. And it's a moot point now. And some of the really hilarious things I've noticed recently, we were talking about the Public Test Universe patches, and they were saying, oh, we fixed stuff for things that are happening at Levski. Oh, by the way, we're removing Levski. It's like, great work, guys. Okay. Okay. I think it's time to say farewell to Delamar. I am going to miss this place. While it's not a place I would necessarily want to live, it's certainly worth visiting. Sometimes the Recco, the mission giver, is going to give a mission if you just go to talk to her without an appointment. Oh, that's unusual. It's still in Hangar 2. I would have figured it had been stored by now. Clearly, it's waiting for me to get on board before it store it. Well, I'm still feeling a little salty about that mission giver, so she can go hang. Maybe when Nyx comes into play, maybe her missions will make more sense. Do run, 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 do run, run. Oh, I should not be using music lyrics. I don't want the DMCA after me. Up we go. Yes, this means I'll be leaving my Aurora here. I'm not leaving. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And if we take a quick peek back here, you'll see that we're loaded up with cargo boxes and cargo boxes of... You know, I must have wiped out the supply of agricultural stuff here because I really felt I should have more boxes here. No biggie. So, let's activate the systems.
Welcome to Mars Space Industries. Enjoy the ride.
Contact air traffic control.
You are clear to launch.
And get a move on. And the great thing about Levski 2 is their hangar doors, they open fast.
Takeoff complete.
I very much admire Levski. Farewell, Delamar. Farewell. We'll see you again in a couple of years. Hopefully. But now it is time to return. Yeah, it said max stock available when I bought it. Yeah, I wasn't paying that close attention. I was just looking to grab all I could. If I'd been paying closer attention, then I could have grabbed some other stuff too, but... This way, if a server crash hits, I don't lose everything. And actually, it's not just a server crash to fear because, well, we might be indulging in a little bit of the ultra-violence soon. I'm part of Crusader. Maybe it would be better for me to do some Crusader work. Nah, we'll stick with Hurston. Okay, and we're off back to Hurston. Once we arrive at Hurston, we'll see how the Andromeda handles a little bit of combat. Let's take a quick second to take a peek at the vehicle loadout manager again, because we looked here briefly to check out the weapons, but what we didn't really look at was their shields. And it is using a pair of size 2 shields, which are decent, but they're not great. I mean, these are the same size shields that you would put on a Freelancer or a Cutlass. And they're having to handle, well, a bigger ship. We do have 2 power plants. That may or may not be a good thing. Now I think that we are probably going to try to make as much use of the missiles. Oh, great. We need to talk. I bet that's Recco. Nope, that's Twitch on Area 18. Okay, I feel better. Wouldn't have made a difference. While I'm here, I'm going to grab the Call to Arms mission, because never, ever, 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 ever take bounty missions. Check trigger assignments. My trigger assignments are right now they're all linked to the same mouse button. All 4 of the lasers are mapped. They're defaulted, so no worries on that end, at least. And I do have these bounty hunter missions here. They're from Miles Eckhart. However, they will require me to go between planet to planet, and, well, let's look at my quantum drive. I'm not going planet to planet in this thing. I'm barely tolerating doing this. Now, this is going to be one of the larger ships I've put through a bounty mission. Usually, I'm not going too much larger than, say, a Freelancer or maybe a Mercury. Mercury is about as big as I've been willing to do. And usually, I'm going to do a bounty mission with fighter craft. Big surprise. Why not? That's what they're designed for. Fighting other spaceships. I mean, yeah, you can stretch the point and say that the Constellation is designed to fight other spaceships as well, at least the Andromeda variant. But that's kind of taking into account the possibility that maybe, just maybe, you might have people operating those turrets. All that said, you really can't laugh off a quartet of size 4 guns. If they hit you, they will hurt. So it will be interesting to see how well it handles little problems like, I don't know, Valkyrie targets. The only problem with that, though, is the fact that I'm using size 2 shields. And they are not, by any stretch of the imagination, the best size 2 shields. I'm also not flying the most maneuverable starship around. So you have a ship that's going to have a hard time tanking and a hard time dodging. This is not the best combination. Gone at OC? You know? Yeah, why not? I see no reason not to. I don't know how much I've got 2 power plants in here after all, so theoretically overclocking these guys won't cripple me. Hopefully I won't overheat too quickly. And if they do, well, we adapt. Oops, I don't want that. I want the power. System menu. There we go. Overclocking weapons is handy if you have a ship that can handle it. Or if you think you can blow up your target with a small amount of shots. Certainly if you're using laser weaponry. Ballistic is more of a roll of the dice. Depending on the ship I fly, sometimes I will overclock, sometimes I won't. And overclocking, I believe, will damage the weapons over time. How much damage, I don't really know. I've never really made an experiment out of it. Because I'm lazy. Okay, we are 1.2 million kilometers out and closing fast. I should be reaching the ComSats of Hurston any time now, and that will enable me to start picking up appropriate bounty missions. And remember, the goal here is to at least break even. I've spent around 70k to rent this for the day, so I want to make sure that I get enough credits where I earn that back. More is better, but this is the real world we're in. And oh my god, where did all the bounties go? Where the hell are all the bounties? Don't think that's until they physicalize components. Oh, maybe, I don't know. When you look at the items in the power menu, you'll see that they all have a percentage of health. Ah, here we go. That's what I want. So we're going to hit a high-risk target, even though that is probably a really stupid move to do right away here, but what can I say? I'm just a crazy guy. So let's get crazy. Let's turn on my gimbals before I forget about them. Yeah, see these? 100 health, 100 health, 100 health. But sometimes when you're damaged, if you get damaged by combat, you'll see that the health goes down. They take damage. It would not be hard, I would think, to put a certain amount of damage happening for overclocked items. But you know what? That will be easy enough to check. We will see where they stand after we do this bounty mission. If they're all at 100% after it, then we will have a pretty good argument that no, there is no downside to overclocking aside from the overheating issues. If, on the other hand, they are a damaged state, well, honestly, the damaged state probably won't tell us all that much either, because I am likely to have a lot of damage done to me if we do all this. And keep a watch on these engines here. If I end this bounty with all 4 engines attached, we will be able to consider that a minor miracle. And brake alignment, reset alignment. Pray it's not server crash. There we go. One more hop. Wee Katie. I know I didn't pronounce that right, but I've never been great with foreign languages to start with. Alrighty. As usual, the bounties are not present yet. Theoretically, this will be fixed with the next patch. It is possible it will be fixed too well next patch, but we will find out. I just like to get relatively close to the target marker, even though that is not where the target is going to end up. Ooh, forgot to tag Everest. Ah! Well, we'll just roll the dice here. I mean, hey, worst comes to worst, I respawn at Levski. Now there's irony for you. Besides, it can be fun flying without a net. So here we are, floating out in the middle of nowhere, with all sorts of debris, undoubtedly caused by all the other ships that have been blown up during bounty hunts. Some of which may belong to players. Yes, that is absolutely not true, but I like to think that to justify the presence of all this garbage. Then again, this is the Hurston system. I would not be surprised if they put all their waste materials. Speaking of which, we have our opposition, a Vanguard Warden. Let's see. Let's see if we can introduce him to the joy of missile racks. Oh, can I shoot him now?
Weapons system critical.
Damn. Well, that was absurdly abrupt. Not only did I have more range than I thought, but they just tore right through them, didn't they? Pretty sure you have a few Talon wings floating around here. Yeah, the Asperia Talon fighters seem to have a little bit of a problem with their wings half the time. And by half the time, it's usually half the time when they hit you repeatedly. Our next target has the downside. Well, it has two downsides, one of which is I can't seem to set the route to them. But the other downside is that it seems like they've got stacked targets. That means it's going to be a 2-on-1 situation. With my kind of luck, they'll both be Valkyries. Of course, if they're both Wardens, and it's likely that they will die just as quickly as that one did.
Auto drive is now off.
I mean, damn! I can't remember the last time I've seen anyone blow up that fast. It gives me hope for the Valkyrie fight. Because if I have range on them, then I can hammer them with those size 4s very quickly.
Auto drive is now off. Auto drive is now off.
And once that's done, well, then it's off to the next mission. Because I'm pretty sure this is not going to pay off my current level of debt. Debt being defined, of course, as the amount of money I spent to rent this ship.
Auto drive is now on. Auto drive is now off.
Now, the other thing to worry about is hitting asteroids. Or really, hitting anything that's more solid than I am. Strangely, that is pretty much everything out here. I suspect that even if I hit one of the smaller bits of debris, I bet it will still damage me more than debris. I feel that's wrong. But that might be asking a little much out of the developers at this stage. Okay, we are going to sit tight and wait for the alert bells to ring. I really thought I was going to have trouble with these guns when they gave me the overheat that quickly, but if it only takes one volley to wipe out an opponent, who cares about overheating? Good times, good times. While that's waiting, let's see if I have any other bounties I've rolled up here. Might as well prep up early. Well, the good news is they've been rolling in. Oh, very hard. We'll put that one on our list. That one will finish the payment. I figure I can get away with that because the countdown starts now, and I'm pretty sure it'll be done well before I get into a danger period for the time remaining. Ah, there we go. We have our contestants. Who do we have here? We've got a Vanguard Warden and a Vanguard Warden. Well, this is going to be abrupt.
Weapons system critical. Shields damaged. Shields max.
One down, one to go.
Weapons system critical.
I take back every bad thing I've said about the Constellation. All of it. All of it. I mean, holy. I mean, let's imagine how long this has taken me in the Aurora. Imagine how long it's taken me in the Vanguard. And this thing just chewed through those guys like they were candy. I guess there's no better way to put it. It was candy. Okay, multiple targets. Multiple locations. Let's go to Magna first. Check weapon health for science. Oh, right. Thank you. I'd forgotten to do that. Although, to be fair, we have not fired the guns nearly as much as I would have expected to need to get a good handle on that. They are all still at 100%. But, again, in my defense, they didn't really work all that hard, did they? They did not work all that hard. What I need to do is test it on a starship that I've had in long and engaged bounty hunts with. You know, engagements that last longer than 10 seconds. Okay, no, I had thought that I was going into an area that only had one target, but from the looks of it, we have them stacked. There are actually 2 targets here. And to be honest, I'm really hoping we get Valkyries now, because I'd like to see how well this holds up on that thing. Kind of makes you want to rebuy your Taurus. Is the Taurus also sporting the size 4s? Because if they are, I'd think about it. But damn, I might have to reconsider my opinion on the Constellation Andromeda here. I might have to put that on my short list of in-game purchases. I am highly impressed. Yeah, there's Rekko calling me. There's a lady who is at Borehole Station at Levski who sends me on a mission and yanks the contract the moment I arrive. Some people are screwing with me, though. Constellation Taurus doesn't have LTI, though. Well, I'm sure it did back in the day when they first released it on concept. Oh, right. Plus you're talking about a buyback token, though, so yeah. That's a problem, too. Valkyrie! Here we go. Now we start really testing things out here.
Weapons system critical.
Valkyrie is tanking those hits.
Weapons system critical.
But it is still down in an astonishingly short period of time. A second Valkyrie.
Weapons system critical. Weapons system critical.
Yowza. Just yowza. Yeah, your Taurus doesn't. Yeah. I do understand that now, yes. Let's see, my second target is all the way over here at Aberdeen. And I've got contacts going all crazy here, which means I'm going to have a whole bunch of people opening fire on me shortly. Oh, whoa, down, 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 down. Whew. Okay, I am taking hits. We'll see how bad those hits are momentarily. I think I've lost some guns. Amazingly, all my engines are still there. Oh, I'm missing some of my VTOL engines. My VTOL needs a bit of work done. All the guns are still there, though, so that's the important thing. And you know what? I still haven't really had a chance to kick off my missiles, because they're in range of my guns almost the same time they're in range of the missiles. So there I am sitting with all these missiles, and my opposition is dying too quick. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, there's a lot of debris in this area. Yeah, the downside of the Constellation series is that parts of it can get shot off really, really easily. Really, I'm surprised that my main engines are still there. But they are, and I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Honestly, I've done way better with this bounty hunt than I really expected. Way better. Size 4 guns are no joke. You know what? There's someone here. Crusader, Surveyor. Oh. And speaking of potential problems, Vanguard Warden. Well, this will be short. Ah! I think he's died. And bounties are complete. And we've raked in 67,000. So those 2 group bounty missions have paid off the debt for this ship. So what we're going to do now is we are going to take a quick hop back to Lorville, and we're going to sell off the cargo that's been sitting in my cargo bay, hoping that I didn't get killed before I could sell it. Let's hit an orbital marker before these guys accidentally blow me up. Lorville. So we are going to head to Lorville, and we're going to offload the cargo. You know, for that incredible 1,000 credit profit, maybe. Levski was never great when it comes to buying cargo and selling for profit. Levski did have one great attribute, though, is that it was one of the very few places that would actually buy scrap metal. Once it's gone, Port Olisar may be the only place that you can do that. And of course, Port Olisar itself is scheduled to be scrapped someday when the landing zone of Orison comes in. Or perhaps thereabouts. Personally, I think they ought to keep Olisar and use it as the orbital station for Crusader, much like Everest Harbor is for Hurston. Now, the real irony here will be is if I happen to come in for a landing, we have a 30k crash happen before I get down to communications range. But that's okay. It can do that if it wants. It can do that if it wants. It don't matter now. Now this might be the point where we start regretting the loss of part of my ship, because well, the main engines are still there, but you know, part of my whoa. Okay, let's turn on the VTOLs and hope they stabilize me. Of course, since one of my VTOLs are gone. Oh, this is going to get entertaining. Oh, this is not good. Oh, this is not good. Let's slow it down. Maybe the speed is part of my problem. Oh, this is so not good. Okay, I think we've just found one of the really bad things here. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no way in hell I'm going to land this thing. I wish I could say this is showing off, but no. This is bad things getting ready to happen. Oh, I should have tried to do a repair on the moon, but it's too late now. There's no way out. There's no way out. Here we go. Try killing shields. Okay, they're good. I've killed them. Boy, who would have thought that such a minor part of the ship would be so crucial to staying? Oh, what a horrible way to go. Yeah, what I really should have done was I should have done the contact for the landing zone before I crashed. Well, the good news is I still have the Aurora. Oh, that was beautiful. That was just a thing of beauty. So, the lesson to be learned on that is, it might be wise if you have major structural damage to your ship, maybe you should land on the moon and see if the repair services will work there first. Because apparently that's a kind of important part. Yeah, we'll do a claim on that just for giggles. What an awful way to go. What an awful way to go. But, as I mentioned earlier, I spent, what, 5,000 credits on that cargo? I'm not losing sleep. Oh! Well, things keep getting interesting here. I'll take a different elevator. Everest might have been a good spot too. I don't know if you're in a hangar or on a pad there. Okay, we have a minor problem here. It seems that all the elevators are opening up into the icy void. Fine, it wants to play, let's play. Ah! Okay, this is eerie. Wait, I know how this works. It is pitch black. You are likely to be eaten by a grue. Going old school, people. Oh, you think it's the server that's hosing? Oh, that'll certainly be an ironic end, won't it? What hangar are we in? 2? I am in the icy black void, but the elevator is still working. And it still got me onto the, got me to the ship. You know, the last 10 minutes have been very entertaining. The nice thing about the Aurora is you can get in on either side. I can go in from the left, I can go in from the right. So I am not quite ready to call the server dead yet.
Welcome to Robert Space Industries. Enjoy the ride.
It might not be far, but so far so good.
You are clear to launch.
Don't mind if I do. And since the Levski doors open really fast, oh, I still need to get out of what is laughingly referred to as the atmosphere here. There we go.
Thank you. And please visit again.
I wish I could, guys. I wish I could.
I think you have to break it.
Of course, if the server crashes again, maybe I will. Okay, we are approaching the 3 o'clock hour, so let's take a look at where the money is, shall we? We have here 3,413,171 AUEC. You can easily see that that number is greater than the number of starting funds I have. And that means good things. It means that I have earned enough to be considered profitable. That would earn me not very much, but then again, I haven't exactly done a whole bunch today. It only earned me roughly 43, maybe close to 44,000 in credits. Thus, drumroll please, the total profit made for today's, including today's work, comes out to a handy come on, so 498,454 UEC. For those keeping track, we are pretty much 1/3 of the way. That's what we were getting. We're about, well, we can call this 500,000 if you want to round up. Sure, we'll round up. And 500,000 gets us very close to the halfway point of earning the credits needed for the Cutlass Black. Presuming, of course, that the Cutlass Black does get put on either the Astro Armada store or the New Deal store when the next patch hits. And that will do it for today's stream. I like to thank everybody for watching. I hope you were entertained, informed, maybe even a little teary-eyed to see Levski one more time. I will, of course, be streaming next week at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern, depending on, where things are at a given time. That will happen on next Saturday. I also do streams on Wednesday evenings from 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, where I do streams for Star Trek Online. So if you're interested in seeing what life is like in the Delta Quadrant, go ahead and join me then. You're welcome, Legend. Thank you for joining me. I hope everyone has enjoyed themselves, whether you're watching this live or later on my YouTube channel. I'll see you all next time. This is Korath Landwalker, signing off.